Oh, hi there. Wanted to talk about some recent reports or tweets or whatever that supposedly came from Trump. Some people are saying that he said them, some he's saying he didn't say some of them, whatever. I don't bother to do much research, as I mentioned before, because the internet, the television, all those places are hubs for misinformation, and it's not worth investing much time looking into it. Uh, there's a number of reasons why I don't look into it. I just figure it's stupid. Other people have contradictory opinions, and they're allowed to have that. Uh, but we'll just start with the main one for today when uh, Donald Trump uh, said, "Why are we having all these people from shithole countries come here?" Uh, a just question, if you ask me. Um, it's a very complicated, twisted subject, and a lot of people have personal bias, and it is to do with skin color, and it's not just if you're white. Um, the other reports were about, Haitians and things like that, so we're gonna assume that it's mostly about blacks coming from places like Africa, Haiti, and that was the main focus point of Donald Trump presidency news today. And it does have to do with skin color because there are people who aren't white who want more of these people coming in. That in itself is racist. People don't look at it that way. They go, well, I'm just here and I'm inviting a few of my buddies over, and we're going to take what's yours, but that's not racist. You're going to have to spend resources and your money to support us as refugees, even though you're not obligated to, even though you'd never get the same treatment over there, even if they were 10 times richer than what the United States is now. And the tables were turned. These are the kind of people that you would not get that kind of response from. There isn't actually much footage or news coverage of what currently goes on in Africa. The last significant news was about Mugabe being removed as president, and there wasn't much to it. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even be surprised if he was just some, I don't know, like uh, it was just his skin and his bone structure, and it was really just plastered on a Chinese man, because it's without a doubt it's the Chinese backing the Mugabe regime was the reason why it survived so long. It wasn't because he was a competent leader. Far from it. Donald Trump was accused, whether he said it or not, it really doesn't matter, that all Haitians have AIDS. Actually, probably a lot of them do. Um, that's a real epidemic over there, and unfortunately, a lot of that was exacerbated um, through previous um, presidential regimes. I mean, I'm talking like decades ago. I mean, I've heard of you know um, the medical field going over there, the Red Cross going over there, giving inoculations, and actually deliberately infecting people with AIDS for numerous reasons, probably for experimentation and things like that, probably other reasons as well. And um, you read about that sort of stuff every now on the internet, and it's probably misinformation, could have happened, but it might explain sort of the tribal rationale of some of the people running around in Africa uh, who would do things like lop the arms off of every inoculated person. Like there are pictures out there of giant piles of arms, and they'd all just taken an inoculation, and it was probably harmless, but probably was a number of times where no, it wasn't. It was kind of a vicious thing for the government to do. Like I said, this is, decades ago. Um, some other part of this got mentioned. I just watched a few minute video on CNN. A usual kind of garbage. The people reporting this, you don't even know which side they're on because they're following the narrative that mainstream media is really going with, which is a very anti-Trump stance. And, it's actually a good way of covering up because it's like finding a scapegoat. It's going, no, it's him who's doing all the bad things. We're doing all the good things. And unfortunately, we're powerless to stop him from doing the bad things, but we're really trying, really growing. And, getting back to guys like Michael Wolff, he looked like a rampant homosexual who was, salivating at the mouth at the very idea of causing Donald Trump any discomfort whatsoever. Who even knows? Like, I don't even want to get into that of what. Let's not even go there. Anyway, all these people are all creepers. They are real creepy people who you see on, media when they have, when they say their points about Donald Trump because they're pounding home simplistic facts about the guy, and well, they could be facts or alternate facts or misinformation, whatever you want to call it. They all seemed eerily, unnaturally interested in the man. Bought a T-shirt, bought a hat before he was elected. Around about June last year. Um, it doesn't really affect my day-to-day life, but it's easy to make a video about it because, something's happening. It's not the age of silence like it was with Stephen Harper. Nothing happened under Stephen Harper. If I heard the Mike Duffy and the $90,000 or whatever the hell it was on restaurants or vacations or whatever the fuck he spent it on, um, you know, uh, I I would probably smash my TV. I couldn't take it anymore. It was like every day for years almost. It seemed like years. I don't know. Um, yeah, anyway, to sum up the stuff about what Trump said about, people from shithole countries going to the US, we don't need more Haitians and all that sort of stuff. It is harmless. These are just words, okay? And, people can't be such pansies about it and overreact when they hear it on the television. Because the problem with that is they're being conditioned to easily be offended. And because there's like so many negative things about the world and, bad things happen all the time, all of that being flooded into regular media all of a sudden, and you got mass panic on your hands that easy. And people should be conditioned into not going hysterical, globus hystericus, in such event, because unfortunately there are fully mature grown up individuals who think they have a good head on their shoulders who would crumble at the very concept of so many things that are facts about this world. And I don't want to sound like one of those, you know, whiny people who complains about things like global warming and things like that. The weather changes. It's just what happens, okay? That's what's always happened throughout the Earth's history. It's not anything immediately to be worried about. But, um, you know, when this is the main part of the news, you don't know, has President Trump done something specific against black individuals from Africa as of today? Did he put some law into motion and they didn't really tell us? They just wanted to give us sort of a vague, blank, generic idea of, where to feel anger, um, and that sort of thing. We don't know. It's probably nothing. It's probably just part of the mainstream narrative, and they go through these stories, and they probably have these stories written up for years. Well, probably not, well, years, yeah, even years. Uh, More likely months for the more specific days. And there could be big stories that come about. I mean, the Tomahawk missiles, not too long ago, I forget when, that was pretty big news. And, I actually made it a point to Google um, how many more casualties there were under the Obama administration as opposed to the Trump one. They say there's more under the Trump one, but it wouldn't exactly be fair because the military men that were in charge under Obama's presidency and Donald Trump's presidency are more or less the same guys. They may not be on the television, but they're more or less the same guys in the battlefield. And sometimes battle outcomes come out differently, and most certainly when it gets on the computer to tell you these statistics, it is not accurate. There's no way. And then, you'll get idiots. You'll actually get idiots coming up and going, "Oh, well, I didn't read this somewhere. Oh, where are your pictures?" There's a media ban. It's blocked. You can't see it. And any reporters that are over there, they hand over their footage to the authorities and they decide what to do with it. Um, it's just, there's a great swell of very stupid people. And being stupid and being ignorant are two different things. Being ignorant, you can't help being ignorant. It's just the way you are. Unless you have mechanisms that keep you ignorant, like self-taught mechanisms, like you're just intolerant to listening to certain things, such as the president saying, "Why are we having all these people from shithole countries come here?" Uh, take that into consideration. Um, I mean, I have heard things, and I not playing devil's advocate here because I don't like Hillary Clinton, but I did hear that through the Red Cross she was able to steal a lot of money that was supposed to build Haitian homes and things like that. And because it was on the internet, and this is the part where I was being the devil's advocate, I don't know necessarily if she directly profited from that. I like to think that she did, and I have a tendency to believe that, but I don't actually know that for a fact. I mean, the Clintons have enough money of their own. They don't really need to go stealing money for that cause, unless it was for her, campaign or whatever. Who even knows? It's just a big web of twisted lies and complete confusion, civilization. I just, I find it completely redundant to read all this stuff. Because I know it's all lies and it's designed to make people walk away thinking what they want them to think. And what is said on the news, which for some people is their only primary source of political information, there most certainly is a slant to it. And they want you to walk away thinking what they want you to think. And the message is not a good one on the media. It's like, there's so many concessions being made all the time, over exaggeration of, like relatively insignificant things. I mean, President Trump has to make decisions where, people's countries get, destroyed. Those are real events. Him saying, we do not need more Haitians, take them out. Who cares? People can use grown-up language. And all those people in other countries say worse things about white people. They do. And for people to suggest that they don't because it's not put on the media, um, you're kind of an idiot, kind of very stupid. I mean, I guess some people know because they go to those places. Like I know some people who went to Mexico, and the Mexicans have a very, very bad opinion of um, of Donald Trump and more or less the United States. But a guy like Donald Trump was going to come along anyway, because I mean, supposedly in Mexico, not too long ago, it was 28 degrees in winter. So yeah, it won't be that long if there's global warming for them to be migrating north. And no, we're still living in an age of, command and conquer. Uh, you're not coming up here in significant number, going, we are we are one species, we are one people. Why should there be borders? Bullshit. Fuck John Lennon. John Lennon's an asshole. Don't agree with that idiot whatsoever. Uh, they no, the military generals that are in the United States are never going to allow a massive influx of Mexicans, because if they came, then pretty soon it'd be them in power and not us. And in the reverse situation, say Canada, United States were the ones that were warming up, drying up, and Mexico was the one staying consistent or whatever, and we were trying to migrate south, believe you me, they'd have no problem slaughtering all of us. And, that's not how it turned out. And it's not going to turn out that way, with Mexicans trying to go north. But you know what I'm saying here. The rationale of certain nations is different from place to place. I mean, Canada and the United States try to be the beacon of, sensibility in the world, but, obviously a lot of harsh things are still happening in the world, and there's not much that can be done about that. It just is the way it is. But we can't keep hearing these same stupid stories over and over again and, just accept them. Because the news that's on the television is fine for snot-nosed idiots who don't know anything. But there really should be an alternative source of information for adults, for people with critical thinking, and people who are not stupid and will actually have a constructive opinion. I don't know if that would, I don't know, promote more extreme ideologies. It may do, because, some adults are still fucking idiots. This is a problem that has to get sorted out through the generations, because people are stupid in very, very ignorant ways, and they get angry easily, and they don't know how to take in information without having a conniption fit. It's just very frustrating, because it's those same types of people on the television, who would tell you the same simplistic story over and over again, and they think just because they said it, that means you're going to believe them. No. In fact, you just look like a nutter if you keep saying the same simplistic thing to me over and over again. And usually these people are in a position to, call you the nutter, even though what they're doing is the more insane behavior. It's their defense mechanism. And, when you see them for who they are, you pity them. You go, is that your strategy? Is that the best you can do? You can't have, a reasonable civil conversation about a serious subject without resorting to lowering the bar to such a point where there is no discussion. It's just you saying you have to trust that person, or else they're going to get mad in a vague way, and that's all that's going to happen. It's like, no, I don't trust you to handle the situation. I don't trust you to not have a biased opinion. I don't trust you not to try something underhanded. And this battering home of the simplistic messaging, it's, it's aggravating. And okay, I could add some more complexity to this conversation by saying, let's look at specific things written by CNN or uh, Wall Street Journal or whatever on the internet, as well as actual physical newspapers. By the way, I don't want those to go away because they do have a slightly different spin on things. So you cheap bastards who don't want to spend the $30 a month, go to hell. Uh, rather spend 30 bucks on a, I don't know, a bucket of chicken wings or something like that. That's your call. I would rather have a newspaper, if you ask my opinion. Um, and of course, yeah, in the storm of tweets and things like that that got mentioned today of Donald Trump, of course, they have to bring up Donald Trump attacking the NFL players for kneeling. That was a retarded, stupid story that was like on and on and on and on. And they made it a point of going, "You're not in the inside crowd, you don't get to know." I say, well, if that's their approach towards us, then we should go, "I don't care what you're doing because it sounds stupid." And there are a lot of things that football players do that are, irritating. And, when they gripe and bitch, it's because they're losing. And, if you're going to pick a fight with us and you're losing, that's your own problem. Uh, yeah, so anyway, I figured I would put my 2 cents on this story. If anyone wants to comment, quickly nitpick anything I've had to say, have conversation, you're free to do so. Probably won't because you're an asshole. It wouldn't matter anyway. I usually get the same old kind of conversations out of these people anyway. Not worth the bother, but I figured I'd put myself out there and say a few things and defend Donald Trump if he said these things because it is no different than any other serious political leader in the world, including Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is a liar. Behind the scenes, he will say anything. And he may pull the French maid routine when it comes to politics. He's, going around with his little sweeper sweeping everything around. Uh, but behind the scenes, he is a cold, cold man. And if you want to believe his porcelain face and what he's got to say on the television, you go ahead and do that. I don't, because he just looks like a hypocrite to me. And he looks like he's contributing to this massive swell of misinformation. Anyway, I've said my bit, so I'm going to finish up this video. Talk to you guys later.